Hello, take two. Hi, I'm Alexandra Loves. I'm a certified love attraction coach, and I'm here today to tell you a story about what happened to me on the road yesterday. It was pretty intense. I went through a lot of processing of this in the last 24 hours, and I realized a whole bunch, like an explosion inside myself that I want to share with you. I'm here with Cyrus. I don't know if you can see Cyrus right here. Cyrus, and then there's like Bisou right here over my shoulder. Those are my beautiful feline roommates. Okay, so I'm a certified love attraction coach. I teach women's empowerment, and recently I've been raising women to raise themselves into queens. And I had an experience. I had an experience on the road yesterday, and I am sure that you've had experiences very much like it. And something came out of me, of fear, past anger, I don't even know if it's past rage. I don't know if that's the measure of it, but fury. I experienced fury again. Fury is new to me. Fury is new to me in the last few months, and it's come up a couple times, and it's been very interesting. So, okay, so I'm driving down the road down here in downtown, and the area I'm driving in has tons of people on the street, tons of pedestrians. Like downtown here, you can only go 25 miles per hour, but really, like, with all the people on the street and like where I was at the intersection, pedestrians tend to not pay attention, just like walk out into the road. I know the area really well. And so honestly, you never go over 10 in this particular area because it's really dangerous. People just aren't paying attention. I can see like pedestrians like looking this way, but walking into the road that I'm driving across. So I'm just like crawling past this intersection. And as I'm passing this intersection, right next to me in this other lane, there's a guy who I guess was trying to cross the intersection, and we're at a green light, trying to cross the intersection, but the cars were backed up, and so he couldn't cross. So he's stuck in the middle of this this kind of busy boulevard in the center of this area. And so I'm crawling along at like 7, and then all of a sudden he just tries to go right in front of my car. Okay, now luckily I was paying attention. Okay, first of all, we're at intersection. It's illegal to cross the intersection, to change lanes at the intersection. Second, no turn signal. Third, he didn't look. Fourth, oh my God, why are you crossing without even indicating anything? So I'm going across at like 7. Luckily, I wasn't going the speed limit. I was going way under, and I slam on my horn, I slam my brakes, and it was so close that I thought for sure there's no way I'm not going to hit him. And I was going really slow, okay? I thought luckily, I did not hit him. Oh my God, I was so happy that I did not hit him, okay? So I'm like, I'm like beeping on the horn because I'm also in shock. And also the other thing that happened was there's these pedestrians that were kind of like waiting, like I think they're waiting for me to cross and then they were going to go. So I'm so glad they didn't like, jump into the road or whatever. And also I live in Portland. The scooters, the electric scooters that are now in all these different cities also just made it here, and they don't follow the road rules either. So I'm like very, very nervous about driving in this area. Okay. All right. So I'm like sitting there and I'm done with the horn and I'm like, like this must've been my face. Cause I was sure I was going to hit this guy. Okay. Let me tell you what he did. The minute he heard my horn, he stopped his car. He turns around at me. And I'm like, holy moly, like, what the F? Like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? I'm like, and so I had to check myself because, okay, I'm very empathic. I'm very sensitive. And I'm also really, really maybe too much a police of my own integrity. I'm like, did I do this? So when he's yelling at me, this is the problem that all of us empaths face, is like when somebody automatically blames us for something or automatically says it's your fault when they're not taking any responsibility. Us as empaths are like, oh, it's me. Is it me? Did I do that? That's what we do. So he's yelling at me and I'm holding onto my steering wheel and I'm like, did I do that? And I'm like looking at the evidence. I'm looking at everything around me. I'm like, no, we're in an intersection. No, there's no, I'm going over it. I'm like, okay, I'm in integrity. I'm good. Like no one got hurt. Like, let's just move on. And so he's in front of me, right? And he's like, I'm going to go. I'm not going to go. I'm going to go. And he turns around and yells at me. He's going and I don't know what he's going to do. So I wait for a minute. Okay. Now, luckily, the light at this point turned red. So people are ready to like cross, trying to get around us. Luckily, everybody had seen this and everybody I was very supported in that everybody just kind of like stayed. no one moved. No one tried to push us. They knew something was happening. Okay. So finally he decides not to go. So I just like slowly creep by this guy. At this time, now I'm not going 7, I'm going like 5 because I'm like, dude, this guy. Okay. Meanwhile, all these cars that he was trying to pass in the first place, that he was in the lane with the first place, all these cars, they're not moving yet. Okay. So this is what this guy does. He comes up behind me. All right. I'm going like 5. I'm just like freaking out. I can see him in my rearview mirror. He's going, that's all I saw. Okay. He's coming up behind me. He starts tailgating me down the street. Finally, we get past all these cars. He comes around me and speeds up to I don't even know how fast and gets stopped at a crosswalk because people are passing. And the whole time I'm going, oh my God, he's gonna hit those people, you know? And so I'm like, oh my God, I hope that he eventually, like by the time I get to this next stop sign where he's at and ahead of me now, I hope that he's gone. I hope that, but people kept crossing and people kept crossing. So here I am rolling up at 5 miles per hour to this guy. And he's yelling at me out his window. And finally I was like, I guess I'm just going to engage with this. And it was very much like a lead thing. It was very much like me being like, yeah, I'm going to engage with this. So I roll down the window. You shouldn't have been going so fast. Blah, blah, blah. This is what he's saying to me. You shouldn't be going so fast. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, no responsibility. Okay, no. He almost hurt me. He almost hurt pedestrians. He almost caused a major accident. No responsibility. Jump directly into shame, directly into it's your fault, directly into what's wrong with you. And he said woman a couple times. So also, I'm going to make you small, woman. That was part of the energy as well. And so finally, I'm like, I'm just going to be real direct and like, I'm just going to state facts. And I was like, hey, did you know it's illegal to, meanwhile, there's pedestrians slowing down in front of us as they're crossing in front of us. They're just slowing down because they're like watching this guy yell. And I'm like, hey, did you know it's illegal to cross an intersection, to change lanes at the intersection? I was like, hey, you didn't put on a signal. I was like, hey, like, you really shouldn't go like over 25 in this area, especially in this area with all these people around. Like, that's why I was going like 7 miles per hour. Like, you really, and he's like screaming, yelling. And you know, there's a lot of people who are great with language. There's a lot of people who are great with like understanding how to take that situation down a notch. And like, I don't have great training on like belligerent, crazy people screaming and yelling at me on the street, right? I'm still in shock myself. Like, I'm still trying. So I don't exactly remember the phrase he said, but it was something about women not knowing how to drive. And I let go of, hi, Carrie, how's it going? In that moment, I let go of self-preservation. I let go of anything that was keeping me there to allow the behavior to keep going. And I got out of my car. And I didn't get all the way around the car. I got out of my car and I came to kind of the front of it. And I said, you are an asshole. And I just stood there like this. And I swear to you, if you know me, this is not really my mode. Like, I don't call names to people. I don't invite confrontation. As a matter of fact, like, confrontation makes me really nervous. Okay, so I get out of my car and I'm standing there like this. You are an asshole. And I just stay there. Okay. And he goes, it stopped him in his tracks. Okay. Stopped him in his tracks. And then as he's staring at me, he just presses on the gas, blazes through the crosswalks and way down the street. Now, oh my God, that whole situation was protected because he didn't even look across the crosswalk when he went. He just like blazed down the street. Okay. And I was like, what just happened? And he's walking, and as he's going down the street, I'm going, like, because he went through 2 or 3 crosswalks. The city blocks are short here. So I'm watching him go down the crosswalks. Everybody on the street is watching this guy go through these crosswalks, like, he's not stopping, because Portland, like, you stop everywhere, like especially in this area, and there was a game going on, so there's all these people. You stop everywhere because there's people everywhere. He just sped. Now I don't know. This guy could have been drunk. This guy could have been belligerent. Maybe he lost somebody that I have no idea. Okay, I get back in my car, and I'm shaken, and I'm like, what just happened? What just happened? And why? Okay, why did this happen to me? Now, you want to bear with me here, because by the end of this video, I'm going to tell you why this is important, why things like this happen in your life, and also what you can do about it, especially for those of us who take on that kind of trauma and that energy, how to just like disperse it, right? How to not take it on. All right. So I get back in my car and I'm like, whew, right? The next person I end up talking to, I ended up sitting down for a while, and I ended up talking to this woman, this very wise woman. Right after this, I ended up sitting with a wise woman. And a lot of what was going through my head was, I'm going through a little stressful time right now. And one of the things in my head was like, why is this happening to me? There's a reason. There's a reason. When a big conflict happens, something that really opens you up emotionally, like when this happens energetically, listen, pay attention, okay? So this woman is like, so I talked to this wise woman, and I told her the story, and I'm like, you know what? I was like, the thing is that in the moment it felt good to like stop it, but I also don't think it was necessary for me to call him an asshole. I said the energy felt good to say that to him, but I don't know, to me, it was not okay for him to blame and shame me. It was not okay for him to take no responsibility. Okay. It was not okay for me to be part of something where he was putting other people and himself, me and other people at risk. And also to then insult my gender, right? Around it. I was like, this is just like, that's manipulative. It's, he's probably in trauma, but it's just not okay. I don't want to judge him for it, but it's not okay to put me there, and I don't want to be there. But I also don't want to call him an asshole, because hurt people. And there's no reason to give him trauma because he gave me trauma, right? But I had to stop it. So I was trying to sort through this. And the wise woman is like, you know what? She's like, in this world, especially as a woman, we all experience these things, but especially as a woman, you are going to experience people who just are going to hurt you. Hurt people. They're going to bring you manipulation. They're not going to take responsibility. They're going to hurt you short-term and long-term. And she said, we all do the best we can. We all try to have compassion. She said, but one of the most important things to remember is that sometimes you got to just give them back the poison that they're giving you. Okay, thanks for the hearts. You got to give them back that poison. And she said, it's not about dabbling and getting really good at those manipulative ways. It's not about mirroring their behavior. It's about doing whatever it is that you need to do to stop the abuse. And sometimes it's going to come out you calling somebody a name, and sometimes it's going to be you pushing somebody, and sometimes it's going to be you telling somebody what's happening, and sometimes it's going to be you calling the police. But you got to know that you have to have that in your arsenal. You have to be able to bite back sometimes, and it's not always pretty. And I was like, and I realized for me that, because I was so upset about like the fact that I called him a name, And so I realized, after talking to her, I felt so much better. I was like, you know what? It's a no energy, right? We talk a lot about, this is what's really important about this. We talk a lot about trying to stop abuse. We talk a lot about the way we have to defend ourselves and protect ourselves, right? And and what that energy was, and when I was calling him an asshole, what that energy, the important part of the energy was that I was saying, no, don't shame me, don't blame me, take responsibility. I am not going to take this on for myself. I'm not going to take on your pain. No, period. I think that in retrospect, it would have been as powerful for me and more in integrity, more aligned in how I want to live my life, had I just got out in the car and said, no, period. No, period. That's it. And so, we're all learning, and hold on, my computer got unplugged. We're all learning. we're all learning, and we're all trying to face this world and trying to understand how to you know, be in integrity, hopefully be in integrity in this world. Okay, so this is what I want to share with you. Why did this happen? What was so important about this? Okay, recently I was in a situation in which I was dealing with people who did these very same things in a different contained space. Okay, and it went on for a very long time. Okay, this not taking 100% responsibility for what they were doing to me, manipulation, control, shaming and blaming around something that I was saying, like, I don't like this, I don't want to do this, it doesn't feel good. And it caused a lot of issues for me. It caused loss of resources. It caused this thing that happened with these people went on for a long time. And it caused loss of resources. It caused me to exit a community that I, at that time in my life, would have done anything for to support. It really didn't make me feel good about myself. And it was something that I kept trying to stop, but I couldn't find the right energy to stop it. I didn't have that no period energy. I had to stop it. I don't like this. You know, I no more, like, avoidance, everything I could think to do that I believe in my healthy relationship, that I know in my healthy relationships, people see and they're like, oh, that's a boundary, right? But in this situation with those particular people, they didn't recognize boundaries, you know? And so I didn't know that I had to show up with no period, screaming it from the rooftops. Okay, it wasn't enough for me to be like, I'm done, stop. I should have come in with no, whatever that means. No period looks different in many situations. You can be in front of somebody and say no period, and that's all they need. Sometimes when you're in an organization, no period means report the people. Sometimes when you're in a sexual situation, it might mean no period and pushing somebody off. But I wasn't in the highest integrity I could be in when somebody was pushing on my boundaries, when somebody was manipulating me. A lot of narcissistic behavior, right? And so this thing really affected my trust in people that had happened with these people. It really affected my trust in people, right? And so I've been working through that, especially recently, and how can I trust in people? How can I truly forgive what happened? And this thing is being concluded, you know, this thing that happened is being concluded, but how do I maintain trust when I'm experiencing people who I receive abuse from, that I experience trauma because of, and they're not meeting me on a level for healing? So there's no responsibility on their end. There's putting all the negativity on me, the blame, the shame, and all that, just like this guy in the car, right? How do I reconcile that? Because when it comes down to the end of it, most of us think that we're right. Most people, most people who are going to manipulate and control are probably not going to show up and be like, yeah, I was wrong. They're probably not. Okay. So the guy in the car who almost killed me and everybody on the street, he probably is never going to recognize that he was wrong. He was in that trauma. He was in that pain, he was in that hurt. So now I'm going to tell you what was so helpful to me to help me forgive, to help me move on. It was like an epiphany because of this car accident, this almost car accident, how it informed the situation that I'm concluding in my life right now with these other people, okay, where I'm experiencing the trust issues, right? What I realized is this. I just finished a book called Writing Strong by Brene Brown. Get it. It's so good. Get it in an audiobook. Listen to it when you're driving. It's amazing, okay? She talks about people who are doing the best they can. Even when it's like, when you experience behavior that feels evil, it really is the best they can. When you're experiencing somebody who's manipulative, they're doing the best they can. When you experience people who can't take responsibility, they really are doing the best they can. And I do believe that. And I've experienced some crappy stuff, and I really do believe that still, okay? And so I took a step back, and I thought about that guy careening down the street, okay? I thought about what it must be like, what must be missing within me, or what I must be carrying in order for me to act that way, to live that way, to create my life that way. I mean, what I saw in his eyes was he was in hell, okay? And what I experienced of those people is watching them kind of like circle the drain of negativity. All right. What must it be in their lives? What must be happening within their souls that they would act that way, that they would hurt that way, that they couldn't even recognize how that affects another human being? Okay, it can't be easy. They're doing the best they can, and it can't be easy to live like that. It must hurt a lot daily. How can you hurt someone else? How can you bypass somebody else's boundaries? How can you shame, blame, put someone else down, okay, as a regular practice? Even if they're saying, stop, please stop, I don't like this, please stop. And you're still doing it over and over again. And then go to sleep and wake up and look at yourself in the mirror. I know that in the wheel of life, when I have manipulated before, I know in the wheel of life, when I've been somebody who bypassed somebody else's boundaries, when I wake up in the morning, I feel nasty. I've been that person in my life. I've not been a narcissist. I've not been somebody who practices those things regularly. I'm very self-aware. I see my coaches. I have a lot of people call me out on my shit. But I know what it feels like when I've played that role in little increments in my life. Imagine what it's like for people to live there, to do that to everyone around them, to not have the respect for people around them, to not even understand what that means, to not even really understand what boundaries mean. It's got to hurt. It's got to really, really hurt. It's got to be like hell on earth. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. When you get an outburst, when you get like that kind of thing going on in your life, look for what else is going on in your life that's seemingly unrelated, and understand that whatever happens in that situation is going to tell you a lot about how you react, how you could react, how you could change, how you can change your behavior when those situations come up again, because the universe, the gods, the spirits, whatever, are trying to help you with something, or trying to help you expand into something else, right? Okay. Second thing is, when you're having trouble forgiving those who hurt you the most, okay, when you experience especially narcissism, control, manipulation, when you experience the evil, the disease of narcissism, manipulation, of control, of people who bypass you, okay? I was about to go on a different tangent. I brought it back, okay? When you experience that, okay, remember that those people wake up looking at themselves in the mirror every day. Those people live with that, okay? You will be fine. You will work on it. You will find people you can surround yourself that are good and trusting, and you can build trust with and respect and love you the way you are, and won't push you and won't lie to you. You'll be able to find that, and you will rise, okay? For them, their journey is different. Their journey is harder. And we got to remember they're doing the best they can, and we can love them from afar, okay? And remember that they have a lot of pain and suffering to deal with. So that's my story. I'm so glad you joined me today. I wanted to share it with you. I hope this is helpful to you. Maybe it's helpful to somebody else. As always, you can share these videos. And also, if you are really moved by any of this, please put it in the comments. Or if you have anything to add, please put it in the comments. And if you don't want to add it there, send it to me in Messenger. I always love to hear from people who are following and saying hi and all of that. So, mwah, love you all. Join me for the next video. Have a fantastic Sunday.